Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a comic book review of Carnage Issue Number 4, the 2022 version, just for clarification purposes. Brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. Carnage is officially loose in the wild. The Venom symbiote spawned years ago, and its offspring bonded to a serial killer, Cletus Cassidy. It gave Cassidy super strength, speed, endurance, all that good stuff. But there was a dark side to him, a dark side he could never give up no matter how much he tried. Soon after, the symbiote's thirst for violence after the King in Black events is incomparable because bodies keep falling one after the other when they enter his path. Now he wants to kill gods. How long will things unfold next? Detective Jonathan Shea is out to stop him. He too has been infected by the symbiote. Things have become so bad for Shea that he has begun to hear Cassidy's voice in his head. And these voices have been driving Shea insane. Crazy, you name it. At the lab in the previous issue where the incident took place, Shea shouts Neely's name, willing to rescue him from the devilish symbiote. As Neely has lost his arm, or his hand I think, actually it's his hand, my apologies. He is trying his best to bond with the symbiote and get his hand back, but he doesn't even have a speck of what consequences will follow. Shea feels like he has failed again. He tumbles through space and falls through dimensions as the fabric of reality changes around him. His failure always reminds him of the person he is because he can't seem to change his fate no matter how much he tries. He feels the entire thing is over at one point, but the symbiote runs through his veins. It isn't over. He feels like it's exploding out of his flesh. Shea expresses his sorrow and that he can't even die anymore. And keep in mind, he got Cletus Cassidy up in his head too. Carnage transports Neely to one of the 10 realms. He tells them they would permanently get rid of some elves whether Neely likes it or not. Neely doesn't understand why Carnage brought him here, but it's got to do more with Carnage's fulfillment of purpose than Neely's. The panel then switches to the Dark Elves in their story. Their army never bows to anyone, and Malekith looked over the entire Dark Realm. In this realm, the only time they saw was glory and greatness, something which they had become quite accustomed to. They used to choose warrior amongst themselves, which would then get the privilege to tame a nice pup. Neas was the wolf goddess who gave pups after every 16 cycles. The chosen warriors would then have the opportunity to elevate their rank amongst their people by, bringing up a pup. These warriors were the noblest ones of their society and were handpicked by Malekith. There were a lot of warriors that were handpicked by Malekith. The thing to know here is that Zeisty had comparisons to Neely. He did not have a hand and his spine was also crooked. You would bet on him to be the last person in the group to take on the challenge of taming the pups. He states his claim by saying that he too should be given equal rights as any other warrior because he says that he can stand tall and hold his own with a dagger. If he fails, he should be fed from his own suffering. I said fed. He should be freed from his own suffering, and they will get rid of it. It was a gamble that he was willing to take. The story then switches back to real time where Zeiss runs through the woods to find the pups. One of the warriors encounters Carnage out of nowhere, and Carnage kills him with the most brutal way possible and with ease. Neely then questions Carnage that they were out here to kill gods, and why did you just kill an elf? I thought we were here to kill gods, right? Carnage, as always, tells Neely to be patient because grand plans require the grandest of preparation. It turns out that Carnage and Neely are here for the niacin pup, and Carnage assigns the task of killing Zeiss. Neely is uneasy at first because he has never killed an elf before. Whether he can handle it or not remains to be seen. Meanwhile, somewhere between forever and eternity, Shea is stuck. He questions why he's on the receiving end of this torture. He hears Cassidy's voice tell him that it's both of them. Cassidy believes that every story has a hero, and there's no better hero for this story than Shea, which is why Cassidy is bonded to him so quickly. Cassidy believes that they're ones to stop Carnage and Neely. Shea expresses a hatred towards Carnage, and Carnage says that he knows he hates him, but Shea is the only hope in sight. Shea is transferred to another realm, where a mystic figure greets him. She seems funny at first and then introduces herself as Spiderly. She tells Shea to call her name, Pattern Maker. She tells Shea that he is the key to everything. The world's fate lies in his hands, and he is the one holding the end of the delicate thread. She has trouble putting things together because her spider sense isn't performing at its best. But with Shea's help, she'll get there. It's all too confusing for Shea as she tries to explain everything to him. However, she assures him that he is a good man and he will make a right decision. Meanwhile, Neely hunt for Zesty continues, but unbeknownst to him, Zeiss turns up from behind and startles Neely. He holds a dagger to his throat. And tells Neely to choose his next decision wisely. Zeiss informs him that he knows about Carnage and how he's out to hunt him. Whatever Zeiss chooses next will have heavy consequence for him on both sides, and Neely better choose right. And that's where we end this issue. obviously, you think you have the story figured out, but you don't. It goes on a path. It's interesting. It's fun. I like Ram V as a writer. I just did not know how gangsta of a writer he is. Link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. With that being said, Carnage Issue Number 4. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.